War is afoot.
What's up, Doom Nation? We are back once again with another Doomed review. What's up, Scagz? You want to tell the people what we're reviewing today?
Yes, sir. Episode 5 of House of the Dragon, called Light the Way. We are reviewing this. Yep.
5 weeks into this, man.
I know, right? Time flies, doesn't it?
Holy shit.
Yep. So we're reviewing this the day after. And I can tell you right now, watching it the day after, I watched it for a second time. So my review will maybe be a little bit more detailed this time. And I kind of give it like a breakdown of scene by scene. Because, you watch something for the first time and you want to just watch it. And then we kind of usually just spitball right after that, come on here and say what we think. So it'll be a little bit detailed, more detailed this time.
I personally only have time to watch it once. So,
yeah, I get it. So, episode 5, it starts off with Lady Rhea Royce in the Vale, same place that Peter Baelish and whatnot were from in Game of Thrones. And Daemon, he confronts her there. And I'm not sure what really happened here. He goes to like grab her horse. She goes to grab her bow. It looks like she goes to make the first move. And the horse jumps, she falls backwards. And boy, what a gruesome way to go.
Yeah. I watched it. I even rewound it because I was like, what happened? Like, I feel like he showed up to kill her, right? Like, I feel like he showed up with bad intentions, but then like a freak accident happened and he was kind of like, oh, what a coincidence. All right, well, we're done here.
Never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then he smashes in her head with a rock. So at least, he finished the job, I guess you could say. Yeah. I think the show also, I mean, the book, perhaps, I don't remember exactly, left it a little bit ambiguous as to what exactly occurred. So I think I like it when like shows will then take an opportunity to kind of like expand on something that happens in a book, like Hardhome in I don't know if you remember Hardhome in Game of Thrones, where the Night King like attacked the wildlings and Jon Snow was there. Like that was only like rumored in the book, but the show kind of gave you it. That's like somewhere where shows can fit in well to like book lore stuff. Give a little bit extra. So after that, we head to Driftmark, and it's Castle High Tide, and we're heading there. The King Viserys. We see that the king has a new hand. His name is Lord Lionel Strong. I like him. He's funny.
He's the strong hand.
Yeah, he's the strong hand. Yeah, he seems to be giving the king the best advice out of anybody so far.
Yeah,
and so that's who's the new hand of the king.
I was interested in his. So his son is the creepy one with the cane.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah, I'm just going to do it by order of scenes here, and then I'll lay it out, and then you comment on it. After that, Otto Hightower is leaving King's Landing, and Alicent confronts him and tells him that, look, you better just like figure out what you want here, because when Rhaenyra becomes the queen, she's going to put your whole family to the sword to ensure her succession.
This was a very good scene. This was, like, it's time to wake up. Like one of these two outcomes are going to happen. Like, you need to figure out what's going to go on. Either get your husband to either prepare your son to be the king, or prepare for war. And she kind of does prepare for war.
Yeah, in a way.
We'll get to that.
And Aegon is kind of looming here in the background.
Yeah.
There's going to be a flash forward here at some point, and he's going to be a major character that we really haven't seen yet. We just kind of saw.
Well, he's still like a 2-3-year-old boy, so
he's a little kid at this point. But we haven't really seen him. Just kind of like the back of his head. They're teasing him, and he's going to be a major player in the next part of the show here. So I thought it was pretty cool to see like the Valerian castle after this, where Corlys Valerian and everything. I thought it was pretty funny. Corlys Valerian is like still super petty, and he makes the king like walk all the way into the throne room, not even greeting him at the front door or anything like that.
And then we must go over the stipulations.
Yeah, right.
What will his name be?
Yeah, so that was interesting, right? Corlys Valerian. They make the proposition that we will marry Rhaenyra to Laenor Valerian, And yeah, Corlys is like, well, what's the last name gonna be?
Yeah. And I gotta say, this was like a poo-poo on your parade move if I've ever seen one. He could have your last name for all of his life, but when he takes the throne, he shall be a Targaryen. I was like, good fucking for you, man. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, this is also setting up how, King Viserys is kind of breaking Westerosi tradition as well and naming a female heir to the throne. And then again, kind of breaking tradition again, where like the children eventually will take the name of the wife, not the husband.
Yeah. And on top of it, if you also caught it, he said, whoever the firstborn is, regardless of sex, will take that throne.
Correct.
So if they have a daughter, there's going to be another queen.
Yeah. So he's not only, changing Westerosi tradition, but he's now changing Westerosi policy as the king. So he's gonna, he's gonna piss off a couple people here. Corlys Velaryon, he was pretty happy, and him and Rhaenys, his queen, were talking there, and I thought there was a pretty telling moment, where they are discussing, that like Corlys, his whole life essentially has been trying to right the wrong that happened at the first scene in the show, where King Jaehaerys chose Viserys over or when it wasn't really King Jaehaerys, it was like the lords of Westeros kind of like voted on it, and they chose Viserys instead of Rhaenyra. And he said something along the lines of like, it's basically been my life's work. So it's interesting to see a character come out and just openly be like, yeah, this whole time I've been looking to fuck over the king and overthrow him and make sure that my, wife and my line is the one who takes power. That was interesting, I thought, because you almost never see that in Game of Thrones ever. Where like a bad guy just tells you his intentions.
No, that was definitely a good scene. That whole back and forth between them. And then I also liked how they went back and forth on their son's true nature, aka he's gay.
Yeah, Corlys is not very progressive or understanding.
No, he's like, he's gonna grow out of it. Once he sleeps with a woman, that shit's over.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was an interesting scene too, right? I don't know what you think. Like it was
so sorry to interrupt you. Okay. But that scene was the only scene that let me down, because at first I was worried. I was like, oh, we're gonna get some woke bullshit, and we really didn't. But secondly, like I knew immediately where this was going. They were gonna be like Rhaenyra and Laenor were gonna come to an agreement and be like, you could bang your boy and I'm gonna bang my boy after we have a kid. I saw that coming from a million miles away.
Yeah, it's a political marriage, right? And I thought they did it. The conversation that they had on the beach was pretty well done. They're talking about like what they like to feast on. So they didn't like explicitly really say it, but they were kind of like insinuating it. Yeah. And then you find out later in the next scene that he, the Night of Kisses, I believe he's called, or something like that. Is
even a gay name?
Yeah, boyfriend. Yeah. All right. So I think we also miss a scene of the weird, creepy cripple guy.
Yes, talking to
Queen Alice.
Alice, right?
Yeah, in the Godswood there. His name is Larys Strong. So he is related to the Hand of the King.
Yes.
As well. And
from what I understand, it's his son, no?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
And he's kind of in there, man. He's kind of like already, sowing discord.
So, his first day, like his father's, not even his first day on the job, his father's first day on the job. And this lurking little, I think we're all underestimating him because of the cane. And I'm sure you know about the character more than I do, but my prediction for it is he's going to be like, who was
I'll tell you, he's like a Littlefinger sort of character.
That's exactly.
Honestly.
I was going to say Littlefinger.
Yeah. He's like another sort of Littlefinger character. He's going to be more important as the years go on here. Yeah. And whatnot. So I thought it was interesting. They kind of introduced another character that's important, like and halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And he has a couple other really good scenes later on. Let's skip on. So on their way back from Driftmark, Sir Criston Cole kind of pops the question. It's basically asks Rhaenyra to marry him, run off into freedom. What do you think of this scene? Because I thought there was more to it than met the eye, but I want to hear what you thought first.
It was a little simpy bitch move on his part.
I thought so, definitely. Yeah, it was kind of weak. Yeah.
But like I get it. Like he loves her, and like they actually, we don't see it because time passes through, between each episode, and they obviously have a thing, and she is she's thinking about him and what she wants to do and how she has to live her life moving forward. I knew they weren't going to run away. She did shit on him because he was like, I want to see where the ships full of cinnamon go, and she's like, I don't need to. No, she already knew where they went or something like that,
right?
And she's like, I've been to those islands before, you know.
It was a very elitist point of view.
Yes,
like, you know, I know much more than you. I'm better than you. I think Rhaenyra has changed over the course of the 5 episodes, where she went from like really not wanting to be in a position of authority and this like royal person to now like kind of accepting it and playing into it. I think also what has to do with it is the which is something that the show has introduced, is like her knowing the prince that was promised prophecy about the White Walkers and everything. Right. I think she understands that there's like a larger, more important thing at stake, and that she thinks that she's important to. Yeah, and I think she was about to tell
it's her duty.
Yes, and I think she was about to tell him right at the end there, where she made a comment about how like Aegon the Conqueror, you know, came to Westeros and united the 7 kingdoms, and then he runs away. Sir Criston Cole. Like, she was about to tell him, united the 7 kingdoms in preparation to face a threat beyond the wall or something like that.
And you know, in typical simp boy move, he gets shot down, and his entire life unravels, and he can't stop himself from unraveling it even further.
In the very next scene.
Simply amazing.
The very next scene.
Yes.
Right. He you know, they return to King's Landing, and he's summoned by Queen Alicent, who questions him. And she gets like a confession she wasn't expecting. She was questioning him, thinking, you know, about Daemon Targaryen. And he just goes all out, like you're saying, can't get out of his own way, and just admits that
she was standing there going, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. And she was kind of disappointed too, because it wasn't what she was looking for. Right. It was much more juicy and bad, I guess you could say, that Daemon and Rhaenyra would have done something. Then Sir Criston Cole, like, every queen fucks around with the King's Guard, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, man, the next scene, I won't delve too deep in it. It was you know, we see that King Viserys is like not doing well in terms of his health, and he's there, you know, the Macers are treating him and whatnot. And man, he delivers like some poetic lines about like his legacy and, you know, what he could have been had he been tested.
With this was a good back and forth between him and the new hand. Yeah.
And I got to hand it to Paddy Constantine, who's playing King Viserys. Man, he's doing a great job. And some of these like one-on-ones he has with other characters, it's like you're watching poetry being written. That was one of those scenes. I thought that was great. I remember back in episode 1, him and Daemon had that scene in the throne room where he was like, you cut me so deep, or something like that. Like, there's been a lot of really good poetic lines, and he's delivered those scenes and those lines perfectly in the show so far.
Yeah. The one that the hand said, though, he's like, yeah, but you'll be known for ruling over peace, which is kind of like the goal, you know?
Right. But right, who's remembered, right? Aegon the Conqueror, you know, Maegor the Cruel. Like, those are the people who are remembered. Like, the person who was like a good king and everyone got along and there was no trouble in his time, no one gives a shit about that king for the most part. It's kind of, you know, humans, even in Westeros, are like concentrated on negativity always. So after that, we head to the wedding feast, as they call it. And I don't know if you caught it, but did you see what they were all eating?
Pork?
They were eating crabs, right?
No, I didn't. I really didn't notice that at all.
They were eating a lot of seafood and crabs, right? It was symbolic of that they defeated the you know, the crab king, or what?
Probably the crabs that ate the men.
Could be, yeah.
You know, you don't go to a wedding in Westeros. You just don't do it.
They're not the best idea.
No.
You know, maybe you stay home. You are SVP, but then you don't show up. You keep people, you know, thrown for a loop. I like
your wheel fell off your wagon, the horse threw a shoe. Just don't fucking go.
And I mean, this thing starts off with Jason Lannister, and I mean, my God, he is an insufferable cunt. Jason Lannister.
Well, he's all pissy because he didn't get chosen by Rhaenyra's.
Yeah, I mean, his character is an insufferable cunt. She also just kind of really sticks it to him in that scene. That was pretty funny. I chose the best possible match or something like that. Like, well, I mean, burning him.
That's what Lannisters are. That's what Lannisters are, though. You know.
Yep. I thought Daemon coming into the room was pretty badass. He just quietly like appears in the doorway, walks in, doesn't say a word.
Yep.
Just sits down.
The king just continuously gets interrupted.
Wasn't even a chair for him.
Yeah.
Get the chair. Yeah, I thought that was pretty badass scene. And then we have the the king, the Valerians come in, they sit down, and then the king starts to give his speech. And I mean, this was pretty tense when he was giving it. I was like waiting for something to happen, as weddings don't go well. And then he just stops, and I was even confused as to what's going on. And you see that Alicent is standing at the door, interrupts his speech. She walks in, all dramatic. And then the line of the episode is then delivered, in my opinion, at least, by what's his name again? The Strong, the son. What's his name here?
That's Hightower's son.
Yeah,
right?
No, not Hightower's son. The Strong son, Larry Strong, the cripple guy.
Yeah.
He delivers, in my opinion, one of the best lines I've ever heard in Game of Thrones, and in this episode, obviously. And he goes, "The beacon on Hightower. Do you know what color it glows when Old Town calls its banners to war? Green."
Green.
That is a flawless line. And what he's talking about is, you see Queen Alicent's dress is green. Call the banners means like you're calling your men to get ready for war. Old Town, we saw it once in Game of Thrones, or twice. That is where the high towers are from. It literally has a high tower, kind of, and has like a burning thing on the top. So that's symbolic of Queen Alicent has kind of like chosen what side she's on. She's on the side of her family, the high towers.
Yeah. And she can't stand the look at Rhaenyra anymore.
Yeah. Or even Viserys now. Right?
Yeah.
Like she's, just done with them. Even the other high towers that were there, we saw the actual Lord of Hightower, who is her uncle, I believe. Yeah. And they were all wearing green as well.
And they said, "We have your back." Yeah.
Right. So that's all symbolic of things to come. Like the battle lines are being drawn. And then, man, it got pretty interesting. For the Dance of Dragons literally took place for a little bit.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra and Laenor started, this whole medieval dance custom. I thought that was pretty dope.
Fuck the dance. What was interesting was his little boyfriend, the Knight of Kisses, like right away, like just kicking the bucket, looking for drama, sniffing around the room, and he's like, "I see it. It's that dude. That's who she's interested in." And it was a pretty smart move, because if you listen, he comes up to
Kristen Cole. Right?
No, he goes up to his boyfriend who's getting married. Laenor. There we go. He comes up to Laenor and he goes, "Well, she knows your secret, and now we know hers." Game of fucking Thrones.
Yeah, right. It's everyone's always scheming against each other, right? He's looking out for his man, at the end of the day. And I thought it was honestly a pretty interesting scene, and it was like it was a pretty logical play that he made. And he goes up to Sir Kristen Cole and he tells him, "Look, man, I found you out. Like, I know what's going on here." And he's honest with him too. He's like, "Yeah, that's my guy too." Yeah. And let's just work together here and we protect each other's secrets because we're kind of invested in this whole thing. Honestly, thought it was a logical take. Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad of an
Kristen
idea.
Fucking simp boyed it up and blew a fucking fuse.
Yeah. Which is just wild, right? And that's why you never trust a wedding in Game of Thrones. My wife thought it was a little bit weird, didn't understand why Sir Kristen blew a fuse. Obviously he was upset, right, about the whole thing. The woman he loves is now getting married. I think also hold
on, let's expand this scene for a second, because now Laenor's little sister is checking out Daemon.
Smoke show, by the way.
Yes. Yes, completely gorgeous chick over here.
Yeah, King Viserys, man, no matter what decision he made, he was going to make the right decision. If he went for the young girl or Alicent, both of them, it turned out to be completely gorgeous.
And she's now feeling Daemon. Daemon's feeling some type of way. Daemon's sneaking back and working the room, talking to Rhaenyra, and fucking Sir Kristen blows up. So now when they start screaming and all this stuff, it's because Sir Kristen started this fight, right? That's what started it.
It left a little ambiguous, right? Because I think they know that weddings don't go well. So they wanted to keep you on edge for a second there.
I wasn't too sure how it all started, but then they were so focused on Sir Kristen just beating the shit out of him. I was like, he's the one that had to start this.
Yeah, I think that's all it is. He blew a fuse. He's a hopeless romantic, a simp boy who he just had enough, and and he takes it out on the Knight of Kisses there. And I mean, man, he really goes pretty brutal.
Kills him, beats him to death,
smashes his face in. which seems to be like a theme of this episode as well. People's faces getting smashed in. Remember, Damon smashed in his wife's face at the beginning of the episode, which, by the way, we forgot that part. He was confronted by the cousin of the wife, who accused him of killing his wife. And I got handed to Damon, man. He's one of the best characters in the show. He completely flips the script on the guy, and it's like, yeah, I now stand to inherit everything. And next time I come up there, keep in mind he's coming there with his dragon, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna have a word with your lady there and see what's the deal. I thought that was pretty funny, man. Honestly. So yeah,
and Damon and so now Ramirez was almost kind of like ready to run away with Damon. Didn't she say something? It's hard to
get a vibe, yeah. Like, if you want me, take out your sword right now. Kill the King's Guard and bring me to Dragonstone. Like, let's run away.
Yeah,
because it's hard.
She
to
didn't
want
to run away with the knight over here, right. Sir Kristen Simp Boy, but she's ready to run away with her uncle, which just makes it so weird because it's her fucking uncle.
It seems like, I mean, it's hard to tell, but it seems like she really does have a thing for him. Yeah, or she likes just teasing him or leading him on or something like that. So after this, man, I mean, wisely so, they get the whole thing over with and they just have the wedding quietly. And they don't have the 7 nights of tournament and then a major over the top wedding. They just do the shit. Yeah.
He was such a sniveling little bitch doing this. Yeah, I do. Bitch.
At the same time, we see Sir Kristen Cole goes out to the God's Wood, and I thought it was pretty cool. He basically goes to kill himself.
Yeah. And he dishonored himself.
Yes, because he dishonored himself. That's a major motivating reason behind everything he did. What he did, he soiled his white cloak, right? The King's. So he feels like he's completely ruined his life. Doesn't know where to go. Doesn't know where he fits in anymore. So the only thing he sees left to do is kill himself. So it's pretty cool. Boy. If the way he was going to kill himself was like a seppuku, which is like a Japanese samurai ritual way to kill yourself, where you stab yourself in the chest with your dagger. I thought that was pretty cool. Like little homage to seppuku, like a samurai or like a knight committing suicide. And then the show ends, and I don't blame him at all. King Viserys, he just passes the fuck out. He's had enough of all these people trauma and all the shit. And I mean, could you blame him?
He's losing blood. He has infections.
Yeah.
Here, my question though is, Allison stops Kristen from killing himself.
Right, I think so. Yeah.
Wondering what that relationship's going to be like, because when they were little girls, Sir Kristen was the knight and he wasn't on the honor guard or whatever it is,
King's Guard
back then, the King's Guard back then. I kind of feel like they both were attracted to him when they were younger, and now I think Allison's going to try and get her fill of some soy boy.
Could be, or she could be, looking to play the Game of Thrones, right?
Or use him to kill Rhaenyra, maybe something like that.
Right, like use manipulate and whatnot and play the Game of Thrones, like saying. We'll see. This is it now. I'm pretty sure now we're going to get a major time passage in the next episode. I'm not sure if we're ever going to see, the younger characters again. Maybe we will briefly, or maybe they'll just the next episode will start and they'll give an explanation like they've done in some of the other ones. 10 years has passed, something like that. I thought it was really good, man. It even ended poetically after Viserys collapses. The rat eating the blood, and then the whole episode felt like I was reading a book, reading a poem. Very well done, in my opinion. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I thought it was one of the best episodes, and it didn't really need any action. It stood besides the one little fight, and it was kind of shrouded. It stood on its own with just drama, poetic shit. It was awesome.
I'm giving it an 8 as well. It's up there for me. I sat there, and as tired as I was, I fucking clapped and marched my ass up to bed. It was a good episode, and especially for a building episode, they might be onto something now where they did such a building episode with such a thriller and drama to it that a building episode doesn't need to be 2 episodes. We could fit a building episode into an hour, so where, Last Kingdom was very good at build, battle, build, battle,
Right.
build, battle, where we can't do, The Walking Dead, where fun stuff episode 1, fun stuff episode 10, the rest is all building in the middle. And I think if they stay on this track, they're going to do very well.
Yeah,
so I'm giving it an 8. And the only reason why I'm really giving it an 8 is because I really feel like the next several episodes, there's so much room for it to be even better. Then I could start giving it a 9 and a 10.
Yeah, they have spent time investing in the characters, investing in drama. You've now seen a lot of like these people got history.
Yeah,
with each other, all of them to some extent or another. They've done something to each other. They've fucked. They've sucked. Everything's gone crazy. And in the future, as things play out, you're going to see like people are going to have access to grind, and shit's going to go down. So it's going to be good. They've done a great job staying loyal to the book, not really veering too much. Of course, they're probably a little bit scared to go away from anything that George has written, but that's a good thing. He wrote a good story, adapt it, and just make it work. And then you can add in little stuff like the scene with the wife in the beginning, where you kind of actually see now what really went down. So let's I think that's a good place to wrap it up. We will be back for episode 6, see what happens next time.
All right, Doom Nation, that's been another doomed review on the House of the Dragon. See, I almost said Lord of the Rings. All right, Doom Nation, have a good night. Peace out. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.